So, weighing in on the state of play, what makes sense, what doesn't. New York Times best-selling author, Mr. Bill, don't cheap shot me, O'Reilly. Good to have you, sir.
Good. I'm glad you took that warning to heart.
Please. Anyway, ICE de-escalating or putting more boots on the ground, or Nome saying one of ours, all of yours. You like that look?
No. But I understand why the Homeland Security apparatus is doing what it's doing, because we have a rebellion in this country, not resistance. It's a rebellion. There's a difference between people protesting a policy they don't like, and I admire that and honor that. I've done it. And refusing to obey the law. So one is legitimate protest, the other is rebellion. And interestingly enough, on this day in 1833, you had a rebellion in South Carolina against tariffs. And the South Carolinian government said, we're not going to collect them when the British ships come into Charleston. And Andrew Jackson, the president, goes, yes, you are, and if you don't, I'm coming down here and kick your butt. So South Carolina folded, and they did collect the tariffs. So this is not new. But South Carolina in 1833 was fostering rebellion, which 27 years later led to the Civil War, as the South grew more emboldened and ferocious. There are 10 states in active rebellion against the federal government now, and leading the league are Oregon and Minnesota. So the Trump administration has an obligation to the Constitution to tamp that down as best it can. Part of that strategy should be de-escalation. So when you're in a position where there is a woman who's committing a crime by blocking a federal investigation, as Ms. Good was, you don't need to take your weapon out.
I agree with that.
In my opinion, my humble opinion. Okay, you don't need to take it out, and you don't need to stand in front of her truck because anything could happen. And trained law enforcement knows that. In every police agency that I know of in this country, they teach de-escalation when the danger rises of a fatal shooting to either the officer or to the alleged criminal. So if ICE would adopt that publicly and say, look, we don't want any more of this. We want to do our jobs. Now, if you impede us from doing our jobs, we're going to arrest you. But you don't have to arrest you on the spot. They could have gotten that woman later. They had her license plate, and they could have de-escalated. And I think from now on they will. But I don't like the inflammatory rhetoric. I don't know what good that does the country. But I do know what's happening. A rebellion is happening. And the President of the United States, like Andrew Jackson, has to tamp it down.
Well, I think that the President of the United States, you can make the case, wants it. I think that's why the motto is what it is on the podium of the Secretary. I think their reaction to the shooting is proof of that. They don't want to fix, they want to fight. Because let me tell you what you do when local authorities do not agree to the Supremacy Clause. You sue. That's what the Constitution demands. That's the administration of justice. You sue. Trump doesn't touch this.
It takes a long time to do that, though.
Look, you could get an emergency order. You could, but it's still the right way.
You can do it. You can do it. But the Trump administration is in business to right this wrong. That's why the man was elected. So it's a little bit different than some kind of other issue that didn't rise.
He was elected on an issue of immigration where the Democrats had allowed the southern border as a process and a protective line to become porous. And he did it. And then he said, and I'm going to round up the bad hombres because they're murdering and raping and this and that. And now we have hyper enforcement in ways where they're going into communities that they're not set up to deal with, and they're grabbing people who entered illegally, or they're grabbing citizens. Way too much, Bill. Way too much.
All right. Maybe that's true. I haven't seen the stats to back that up. I have asked Homeland Security to put those stats out.
They don't want to.
Because they certainly know who the criminals are, because they do put out that criminal profile, and who the people that are not active criminals. And then I'd like to know what happens to that. Now, I have a solution to this whole problem that I dealt with tonight on the No Spin News, and I'm not going to give you the whole thing because it's too long. But just briefly, if I were President Trump, I would sign an executive order that would require every person in this country without documentation to register at the post office within 90 days, and to tell the federal government, Homeland Security, where you are, what you're doing, what your circumstance is. Are you filing for asylum? Do you have an immigration lawyer? What's the story?
But when you give them that information, can they come to your house when you give it to them and take you?
If you give them that information, the government then, as part of the executive order, would issue you a card, like a Social Security card, where then you would be entitled to due process to whatever happens. I think that's a fair thing to do.
That is better than this.
Okay.
That's for sure.
But if you did not register, as the thugs and the criminals would not,
then you're asking for it.
Wouldn't.
Then you're asking for it.
Not asking for it, instant deportation. You're out of here.
Right, but I'm saying you're asking for it, and you're asking for enforcement in that case. I think that'd be a great option. As you know, the Republicans don't want to do it. They call that amnesty, which I think is silly.
That hasn't even, no, Cuomo, come on. That hasn't even been proposed. This is the first proposal.
No, people have proposed registrations. This, if you want to know who's in the country and what they're doing.
Not this easy.
Well, I mean,
not this easy. This is an easy play, okay? Because you could never get through Congress because neither party wants to solve the problem.
That's true.
1952 was the last immigration law.
That's true. The problem works better for both sides to demonize the other. Here's something else that you know, it's my job here, and God assigned me this, is to teach you, Cuomo. Harry Truman vetoed that bill in 1952, and he did so because he felt it was exclusionary to non-white people. Isn't that interesting? But Congress overrode the veto, and that has been in play since that time. Now, you would think any Congress would say, we got a mess on our hands now. We've got to deal with this in a fair, humane way. We're going to have a civil war.
Let's pass a new law.
We're going to have violence all over this country on a regular basis if it keeps going this way.
I don't believe that'll happen.
Well, look, I hope I'm wrong, but
I don't believe that'll happen.
This feels bad. And the way that the administration is handling it is making it more likely. Let me ask you something else, though. Iran, I don't understand the legitimate basis in law for any president to say, ooh, this regime, they're bad. I don't like what they're doing to their people. I think I'll use the military and not have to go through Congress. How can the president do that in Iran?
Under the national security banner. Because Iran, and we saw that with Soleimani when Trump took him out with a drone. I wrote about that in my book, Killing the Killers. Iran continues to fund worldwide terrorism and gives them billions of dollars, billions with a B. That's a national security threat to the United States. So under national security, if you can neutralize somebody like Soleimani or ISIS, as Trump did with the assistance of Barack Obama, you can do it without congressional approval. And that's what he'll use. Now, what is happening right now? Are you interested in knowing what's happening right now, Cuomo? Because I'll tell you.
If you know something I don't, sure, go ahead.
We'd be here 5 hours. We'd have to do a telethon if it's all the things that I know that you don't. Okay. In the Pentagon, they are now wargaming, they call it, about options, and something will happen. But I talked to the president himself about this on Saturday, and I said, look, and he asked me, I never do it without a query. I said, you can do military action, and you're justified under national security to do it, but it should be a tipping point action. So whatever you do, make sure that it's the end of the mullahs. So I would take out the Revolutionary Guard headquarters. I'd flatten it, all right? Boom, it's gone. Because that's the only organization keeping those mullahs alive. And they've already made arrangements to go to Russia, and I understand that Putin will receive himself north of $30 million when he lets them in. And that's Putin's game. Assad gave him a fortune. Okay? So I understand that mullah's already got that plane on a runway. But the United States could do anything at any time to tip it over so that these awful individuals that I write about in Killing Evil are gone.
Even
and that
under
is what is happening right this moment.
Even under the AUMF that you're referring to from 2001 and 2002, they had to go to the Gang of Eight when it was a non-specific, non-imminent target of opportunity. I don't know how this fits into anything else, as silly as I think it is to rely on the 2001, 2002 AUMFs. I don't even know how they're germane. Why not go to Congress, at least the Gang of Eight?
Because you don't have time to do that. You know that if you go to Congress, it's the partisans will come out and they'll scream and yell, and you'll lose all surprise. You can't do it.
So then when does a president have to go to Congress, in your opinion?
On an ongoing basis. And even in the ISIS campaign, which was ongoing, all right, President Obama and President Trump did not go to Congress because the imminent threat of ISIS was so obvious to those of us who see the world in a realistic way. Here's terrorists who are trying to kill us. Iran funds those terrorists who are trying to kill us. So under the law, Trump can take them out. He will. Something will happen, and Congress is not going to do anything about it.
Well, you got the War Powers Resolution in the Senate right now. It's about Venezuela, but
it's not going to pass.
Well, even if it passes, he'll veto it, and then they need 2/3, and he won't get that. But got to tell you, once again, I think it's a dangerous precedent. Dangerous.
All right, and I respect your opinion somewhat. So Dusty just told me I have to congratulate you on a serious radio program?
Yes.
I didn't even know. Okay. So
Sirius,
Smith,
S-I-R-I-U-S, not S-E-R.
I know what it is.
Okay.
I know what it is, you pinhead. Smith has a serious show. You have a serious show. The third American doesn't have one.
The word on the street is that your face is even unappealing for radio, not just TV.
Is that right?
No. You're always welcome on my show. You're always welcome. Yeah, I'll go into a looks battle with you any day. Bill O'Reilly, I appreciate you coming on for your take. Thank you. And thank you for the thank you.
One more comment.
Please.
If you look the way I do at my age, you have to go to Mass every day.
Every day won't be enough. I'll be gone long before that. Take care, my friend. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.